today's school system, the average high school senior would have spent over 460 hours in a testing room, taking an average of 114 federally mandated tests. This increase in testing wasn't cheap. We're spending over 220% of what we used to on testing and seeing little to no results. Parents, teachers, and especially students are fed up with this increase in bad testing. But where did it start? Many people believe the blame could be given to one institution, Common Core.
Well, Common Core is a concept where the nation basically has taken standards and put them in a fashion where we can all have the same standards throughout the country. That's the basic premise for Common Core standards.
So children who lived in Washington State and who lived in Iowa and who lived in Florida would all be learning common skills.
In your English classes, you may find the last couple of years you've done a lot of writing that has to be based on some text where you are supporting some of your writing. That's a Common Core principle.
The United States spends 30 to 40% more than any other country on education. That's around $12,000 per student, which in total is over $620 billion. This was discouraging because PISA, the Program for International Student Assessment, placed the United States almost last in science, math, and reading. These scores led to a push for better educational policies and the creation of things such as No Child Left Behind and Race to the Top. Race to the Top encouraged states to adopt Common Core, which is why it's so widespread today. Common Core states, such as New York and Kentucky, have to take Common Core state assessments. How did students do on those assessments? Well, according to Vox editor Libby Nelson, not at all well. Scores dropped off a cliff in both states. In New York, fewer than one-third of all public school students passed the state assessments. Kentucky also saw a big drop. Scores went from hovering around 70 to 80% to less than 50. She writes, supporters say the new standards are supposed to be hard, and that the low scores are a feature of the states, not a bug. Here's a final thought from the executive director of the Pioneer Institute, Jim Sturgis.
Good morning. I'm Jim Sturgis of Pioneer Institute, the publisher of Drilling Through the Core. 5 years into the debate over Common Core, we're at a critical juncture. Polls demonstrate that Common Core is at a new all-time low in the polls and that its brand is toxic. The PARCC test, one of two major testing consortia aligned with the core, has dwindled from 26 states and Washington, D.C. to 7 states and Washington, D.C. It's really no longer viable. In SBAC, the other national consortia test isn't doing much better. It's true to say that there is little common purpose or comparability left in Common Core.